Christmas has gone through many evolutions over time. It has looked like this, and this, and this, and this, and it has now become one of the most profitable holidays in the Western world. From sheep in a stable to a lit Christmas tree, from incense and gold to wrapped up Christmas packages, from poverty to gluttony, from solstice to star, and from religious observance to commercial profits.
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about? Money, money, money. Oh.
Welcome back to Ari Wanders. My name is Ari, and this channel is a place where we wander through the world one idea at a time, inspiring connections and cultivating curiosity. Be sure to subscribe to never miss out on an adventure. From ancient winter festivals to a religious holiday to commercial mayhem, Christmas has turned into quite the event. Today we're going to talk about Christmas's ancient origins and specifically how we arrived at the current American rendition of Christmas. We're going to look at its pagan origins and how it was absorbed by the church, how it crossed an ocean, the real story behind Santa Claus, why we put ornaments on a pine tree, and how in the world this turned into this. In ancient Europe, this time of year surrounding the winter solstice was always a time of celebration and honoring the gods. Since prehistory, the winter solstice has been a significant time of year in many cultures and has been marked by festivals and rituals. It marked the symbolic death and rebirth of the sun. The gradual waning of daylight hours is reversed and begins to grow again. Some ancient monuments such as Newgrange, Stonehenge, and Cahokia Woodhenge are aligned with the sunrise or sunset on the winter solstice. Yule was celebrated by the Norse. The Germans honored Odin, and the Romans celebrated Saturnalia, Juvenalia, and Mithra. Then, around the turn of the era, there was a great celestial event where stars and planets aligned to light up the night sky. Men from the east who had been observing these celestial events went to Bethlehem of Judea, along with a group of shepherds who had been told by some angels to go to the same place. No one knows what their exact numbers were or when exactly this event happened, but I'm sure it was quite a unique gathering. The men from the east offered gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, which would have likely been more appropriate gifts for a king, a priest, or a dead man, rather than for a newborn baby. But for this in particular baby, those gifts seem just about right. That was quite the first birthday party, but this birthday was not widely celebrated after this. Quite the opposite. Christmas as a marked day celebrating Christ's birthday came around the advent of Christendom about 300 years later. Emperor Constantine had been an adamant sun worshipper before his dramatic conversion to Christianity, and some think he never quite differentiated the two. The day of the birth of the unconquered sun was on the winter solstice, December 25th. And so the unconquered sun, or sun, began to be celebrated December 25th, 336 AD. This particular date has little to no relevance for when Jesus was actually born. No one quite knows the exact date, but most scholars would lean towards springtime rather than the dead of winter. As the church moved into Europe and beyond, it tended to absorb and replace existing holidays with Christian ones. And by the Middle Ages, it had all but replaced other celebrations going on around this time of year. It was a sacred religious holiday observed by attending services, but followed by drunken parties afterwards. It was a time when the wealthy were to share their prosperity and privilege with their less fortunate neighbors, inviting any of them who would come to dine in their fancy houses. Not that it was exactly an option for these wealthy homeowners, for if they did not invite over their less fortunate neighbors, they would likely be terrorized by them instead. Christmas kind of had its ups and downs after this. It was thought of as a wild carnival day and was often canceled to keep down the ruckus and upheaval, while some were trying to bring it back to being simply sacred. In 1819, Washington Irving wrote the Sketchbook of Geoffrey Crayon, in which he illustrated Christmas as a time of joy and the deletion of classes, but also as a time of peace. Then came Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, where family, hope, and a chance for self-reflection are proposed as the meaning of a season. For a long time, Christmas was really considered more of an English holiday tradition, and it was not an official federal holiday in the United States until 1870. Christmas still looked more like this than this. But we're getting to this later. As Americans began to embrace Christmas as a perfect family holiday, old customs were unearthed. People looked towards recent immigrants and Catholic and Episcopalian churches to see how the day should be celebrated. In the next 100 years, Americans built a Christmas tradition all their own that included pieces of many other customs, including decorating trees, sending holiday cards, and gift-giving. Although most families quickly bought into the idea that they were celebrating Christmas how it had been done for centuries, Americans had really reinvented a holiday to fill the cultural needs of a growing nation. And one of these unearthed customs was Santa Claus. The legend of Santa Claus can be traced back to a monk named Saint Nicholas who was born in Turkey around 280 AD. He gave away all of his inherited wealth and traveled the countryside helping the poor and sick, becoming known as the protector of children and sailors. One of the best-known St. Nicholas stories is the time he saved 3 poor sisters from being sold into slavery or prostitution by their father by providing them with a dowry so they could be married. Nice fellow, right? But not exactly the white-bearded, red hat-wearing man that we're familiar with today. St. Nicholas had a feast day that was celebrated on December 6th, and his popularity continued to grow. But there was still no direct link between St. Nicholas and Christmas, except for the fact that both were celebrated in the month of December. St. Nicholas was especially popular in Holland, and when many Dutch immigrants started to come to the USA and honor this feast day, Americans took notice. And slowly the name St. Nicholas, which would be Sant Nicolaus in the Germanic languages, was shortened and transformed into Santa Claus. His image went from a monk to a saint to a man wrapped in a red quilt with a big white fluffy beard, pushed into mainstream popularity by malls who attracted children dreaming of a big bag of toys. And he was further popularized by commercial enterprises such as Coca-Cola, looking for a winter boost in their product sales. Let the commercialization begin.
I've been looking for you, big brother. Will you please write a letter to Santa Claus for me? You write it and I'll tell you what I want to say. Okay, shoot. Dear Santa Claus, how have you been? Did you have a nice summer? How is your wife? I have been extra good this year, so I have a long list of presents that I want. Oh, brother. Please note the size and color of each item, and send as many as possible. If it seems too complicated, make it easy on yourself. Just send money. How about 10s and 20s? 10s and 20s? Oh, good grief.
Good grief indeed. It happened slowly, like most things, step by step, until it got far enough away that origin point could hardly be seen. Now to address why we put lights and a bunch of shiny baubles on a pine tree in the middle of our living room around this time of year. Does anyone else think that that's just a little bit strange? Now, the origins of the Christmas tree are highly contested, and though some people think it hails back to many of the winter festivals around the winter solstice, the likelihood is it probably has more of a maypole type origin, where a tree indeed was cut down but then transformed into a pole and decorated. How it turned into bringing a whole pine tree into the house, we're not exactly sure about. Historians have quite a few arguments about where the idea of a Christmas tree actually came from. Some would argue it came from some of the ancient winter solstice festivals, but a lot of people would say that it has more to do with a maypole origin, where a tree was cut down, cut into a pole, and then decorated. I'm going to link a video below by Religion for Breakfast, where he really deep dives into the origins of the Christmas tree. I don't think I could do a better job, so make sure to check out that video. The first Christmas tree in the USA was recorded in 1747. Now 25 to 30 million Christmas trees are sold stateside annually. Now to address Christmas ornaments. Christmas ornaments were first brought to the USA from Germany by a man named F.W. Woolworth. You may have heard of his name before. In 1880, $25 of hand-blown glass ornaments were bought for his variety store in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and they were sold out in 2 days. Only 10 years later, 200,000 glass-blown ornaments had been imported. Christmas presents started out as a nice meal or the special delicacy of a fruit in a Christmas stocking, maybe a small toy or a winter piece of clothing. Then bigger gifts became more common. A doll, a new bike, to having entire store catalogs wrapped up and boxed beneath the Christmas tree. Black Friday was then born in the 1960s as a way to jumpstart holiday shopping. It gained popularity in the 80s, but by the 2000s and 2010s, it even started to overlap into Thanksgiving dinner. It then expanded into Cyber Monday, and now it seems that Black Friday starts sometime in October. All of what is now a $730.2 billion Christmas market.
What's going on here? What's this? Find the true meaning of Christmas when money, money, money. Spectacular, super colossal neighborhood Christmas lights and display contest. Lights and display contest? Oh no! My own dog gone commercial. I can't stand it. Oh.
I think that most of us would agree that Christmas commercialization has gotten way out of hand. After all, commercialization of anything is no longer genuine. It wants something from you. When I was a child, Christmas started the weekend after Thanksgiving, but now Christmas decorations are hitting the stores in early October, along with Halloween pumpkins and skeletons. I kind of blame Nightmare Before Christmas for making that a thing. After all, if Christmas is the most profitable time of the year, wouldn't it suit the books to make it as long as possible? But where does it end? Is commercialism really what we want to celebrate?
Is there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about? Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
Christmas is indeed about giving, but not the kind of gifts that you can buy in a store. As the Grinch so poignantly said,
Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
So what do you want Christmas to be? That, my friend, is not up to any store or advertisement. That is solely up to you.
Merry Christmas!
How do you celebrate Christmas? Do you have any unique traditions? Or have you come up with any creative avenues to avoid a commercial Christmas? Make sure to let us all know in the comments below. I hope to see all of you beautiful souls here next time. And until then, keep wandering. And Merry Christmas.